Okay.
Okay. Hey, witches, we have a
Okay.
lot to say about this.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're
So,
talking about WandaVision today, and I don't know shit about WandaVision because I only finished watching it yesterday, and I'm not really caught up at all with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But here we are.
so for Thanksgiving, we didn't really do anything, so we decided to start watching um like the MCU in chronological order. We didn't make it to any Wanda
Hmm.
or Pietro for that matter. But I was hoping to make it to at least like one of the movies with them in it, but we didn't make it to there. However, I did rewatch Age of Ultron like sometime last week, which they are in that. Like that's their like introductory movie. So yeah. Also, before we start, you're probably like, WandaVision, isn't Scarlet Witch a superhero? And it's like
I guess.
there are witchy elements in WandaVision about Wanda Maximoff that I think qualify her and the show for the podcast. Also, it's our show and we do what we want.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. For those of you that don't know, WandaVision is a Disney Plus exclusive series that follows the Scarlet Witch or Maximoff and Vision. And they have like this little domestic life together, framed through a sitcom series, and there's something sinister going on that you don't really get a good grasp on until like a few episodes in.
Who is Wanda?
Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, and she doesn't really know that until later in this series. So Wanda has these psychic abilities. She can like make you see
Telekinesis.
visions.
It's telekinesis and something else. Tell us
She
something.
she can like make things out of thin air.
Manipulate reality.
Yeah,
And there's a prophecy.
yeah, there's a prophecy. So later in the series, and let me preface this by this series, we cannot adequately, even if I walked you through every single thing that happened in this series, like if you like are at all interested in watching WandaVision and you're coming here to like get a summary, like
Sorry,
even if I told you every single thing
we're gonna
that
miss.
happens, even if I told you every single thing that happens, like it's still not adequate. Like you have to watch it. And that's what I told Kaya. And
There's too much to it. Like, it's a very small section of a massive fictional universe. And the thing is, even with WandaVision, you don't get everything because there's the comics too, and a lot of people haven't read the comics. So, with that being said, here we go.
yeah.
Wanda is a twin, and her brother is named Pietro, I think. And I'm probably saying it wrong because I don't have the accent. I'm just a white girl. And Wanda and Pietro are from a fictional European country, and their parents die. And they agree to participate in an organization called Hydra, which is like the bad guy club, from what I understand. Okay. And they agree to participate, and they use something called the Mind Stone. It's one of the Infinity Stones. That's all I know. I don't know what color it is. I don't know what it does. I know that
um
this specific stone that they used is the same one that Vision is. It's in his head.
so there's a part in the series where Agatha, who is our antagonist, she takes Wanda through her memories. One of the memories is where Wanda is doing an experiment for Hydra, which is an anti-freedom terrorist organization.
So the bad guy club.
Yeah. And for some reason, they have Loki's scepter. And I don't know why they have Loki's scepter. I'm not sure where in the timeline this falls. And this is just another reason why you have to watch it. Like, it's confusing.
That's a lot.
But they have Loki's scepter. Hydra has it, and they want Wanda to touch the stone in the scepter, which is like, until this point, we didn't know the Mind Stone was in the scepter. I don't think we knew that the Mind Stone was in the scepter. Also, no one come for me. I'm not an MCU expert. I am very much a casual. But she touches it, even though they're like, no one has survived touching the subject or whatever.
Oh my God. Why? Why?
Mm-hmm. And so she touches it, and then the Mind Stone, the yellow Mind Stone, which is Vision's stone,
The
like
one that's in the
pops out.
sun that
Yeah,
makes Jarvis and then Vision.
yeah. It pops out of Loki's scepter. It kind of like explodes, and then she sees a silhouette of what is her future self, like her silhouette, her Scarlet Witch silhouette in her Scarlet Witch getup. And so she sees that silhouette and she's kind of like squinting at it, and then like it kind of explodes more. She passes out. They're like, okay, cool, she survived. And then she becomes an agent of Hydra. So I don't really know. I don't know how Hydra got the scepter. I don't remember them using the scepter, because eventually Age of Ultron has Age of Ultron is when Vision is born, and
Vision or as Jarvis?
Vision was created by Ultron.
The fuck is Ultron?
Ultron is like this. Now, again, if I'm misquoting, don't come for me. Ultron was this thing that Tony and Bruce Banner were creating, and it went haywire. It's artificial intelligence that was like, actually, humans are fucked up. So he was like, I'm going to make a body for myself. And that was Vision's body. So that body was meant to be Ultron's, but instead it became Vision. Jarvis got in there. And so it became Vision and not Ultron's body. That is a very, 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 very simplified way of putting it.
Okay. So Ultron is also an AI.
Yeah, and he's not around anymore
Excellent.
as of the events of WandaVision.
So I might be remembering this wrong, but I believe that Tony said that in the comics, Wanda and Pietro were not born with powers, and that they got the powers from the Mind Stone and the experiments. But I could be wrong because maybe I misremember that. Maybe I misheard it. Maybe I'm just making shit up in my brain. I don't know. And he said that I think, sorry, honey, if I'm putting words into your mouth. He said that by them doing experiments, that's how they got their powers in the movie, and that it's different in the movie than it is in the comics or
I
TV
mean,
show or whatever.
yeah, I wouldn't put that past them, because the comics,
Let me see.
there's so much shit in the comics, and I also have not read the comics, so I am going off of what Tony said as well. That sounds like something they would change. And the whole thing with Agatha, for Agatha to work, who again is the antagonist, who is a witch, the whole thing for that to work with her, Scarlet Witch has to be a witch, like a baby witch, when all of the stuff in Sokovia happens, when her house explodes and when she touches the Mind Stone. Also, again, I just want to reiterate, I'm probably missing some pieces about how Hydra got the Mind Stone and the scepter. I don't know. Don't come for me. But yeah, for them to make it work with Agatha, she has to be a witch, like a witch, and not like
A fake witch.
an experimented on person that became magical.
So Wanda and Vision were thrown in a room together, and Vision's an AI with an actual body. And Wanda fell in love with a robot.
Vision is so sweet and charming, though.
She fell in love with a red robot.
But he's I don't know, like they were going through the past experiences and they show the part where they're in the Avengers compound and her and Vision pretty much live together for a little bit at this point in the Avengers compound. And this is just when she just lost Pietro because he dies in Age of Ultron. Spoiler alert.
So there's a trauma bond.
Yeah, there's a trauma bond, and he's really trying to like be there for her and support her, and she kind of lashes out at him, and then she's like, "Sorry, like I know you're trying to help." And then Vision says this really like sweet, touching monologue.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Um, and the one line that he says that I can remember that I can't find in my notes, he says, "What is grief if not love persevering?" And like the way I cried the first time I saw that scene, and then like I thought it wasn't gonna get me this time, but like I still teared up. Also, I think the guy who plays Vision, like his voice or something, is just so soothing. It has like a hold on me.
Wanda and Vision became a thing,
Yeah.
otherwise known as WandaVision. Then Vision died because oh, he died twice.
Yeah. Because in
Thanos took the stone out of his brain because he's a power hungry bitch.
fucking grimace ass looking motherfucker.
You ever seen that theory that Ant-Man crawls up his butthole and then turns big?
Yeah.
I never let that go ever. And Tony was talking about how Jimmy from WandaVision was originally an FBI agent that was watching, I believe his name is Scott, who is Ant-Man. Maybe it's Steve. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Jimmy was watching Ant-Man and Tony was like, yeah, so he's basically up his ass. And I'm just like, oh, up his ass like Ant-Man is up Thanos's ass. And yeah, I literally just never let that go ever.
I mean, if he had done that, what would have happened? Like, I feel like there might have been some way for the writers to get him out of that, but like still, I can't imagine a way for them to fix that. So like
I don't know what his powers are except for ant-human, ant-human. He could probably have used powers that are not ant-human, ant-human.
he literally just has a suit that makes him big and small.
Couldn't he
Um,
just like use his ant clippers, pinchers? Pinchers.
well, because you can get like he can like not just human size, but he can also get like super, super big.
Oh, then they would make him super, super big, like Empire State size, and then Thanos would explode.
Right. And so like I'm like, okay, maybe there's a
So,
way they could write him out of that, write Thanos out of that sticky
real
situation. But
talk.
like,
Why didn't they do that? Because if he could do that, then that would have literally solved their problems so damn quickly.
I don't know. Because then the movie wouldn't happen.
Okay, but it would have been fun. That could have been like, all right, instead of a full-length movie, we're going to give you a short. But don't worry, it's really, really, really high quality content, which is what I would have done. I'd have been like, this is the finale. You guys are all going to be super happy with it. Check this shit out.
But if Thanos didn't do the snap, then they would be out a movie. They wouldn't have Endgame,
Couldn't they
Infinity.
have done it? I no, I haven't seen them, but couldn't they have done it at the end of Endgame or
Well, they
something?
do kill him in Endgame.
How come he couldn't have died that way?
That would have been really funny. What the fuck were we talking about? Um, oh yeah, Vision died. So yeah, Thanos needed the Mind Stone, which Vision has in his head. Um,
So he was like, I'm gonna just
I'm just
fingers in your brain and just pull it out for me so I can be the power hungry bitch that I am.
and it's really like scary and traumatic looking. Like, and then they use the Time Stone. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've seen this.
I haven't
They use
seen
the
that.
Time Stone to like rewind it and try and save him, and
Yes.
and it doesn't work. Or no, they use something else, but Thanos has the time stone. So he just undoes whatever they do to try and save Vision, and he dies again. So Wanda had to watch the person she loves die in front of her twice in an extremely violent and traumatic way. So that would fuck you up a little bit. I don't know.
It sent her into a downward spiral.
God, I'm just thinking about that scene and like, God, it's so fucked up. And so after he dies, she goes to see his body after like the events of Endgame and Infinity War and whatever. Like,
The gray man takes her. I don't know what his name is. I
fucking fucking
gray hair.
Tyler
And,
Hayward.
well, I call him Gray.
He's a little
He has
bitch.
gray hair.
He's an asshole.
He is. He doesn't have a name, so I call him Gray.
He
He's undeserving of a name.
yeah, let's call him Gray. For the record, we're calling Hayward Gray now. So she goes to see Vision's body because I don't know, I think she got snapped away and then she came back after everything got fixed. And she's like, I want to see his body. I want to give him a funeral. Like, let me see him. And they show it to him, and like they're tearing apart his body because he was the most sentient weapon ever made. And
Bullshit.
she's like, Vision's not a weapon, and like that was his last will and testament, I guess, so that he
She
didn't want
was
to be
like,
made a weapon.
Vision's not a weapon. He's my honey. After that happened and his body went away, then Wanda went into a downward spiral. And she went to this town that I guess she used to live in, Westview or something. So she creates this bubble that's hexagonal in shape, that they call a hex because it's hexagonal in shape. And it's a bubble in which everything in there is of hers and Agnetha.
So
Agnetha
her
creation.
her character's name is Agnes. Her real name is Agatha.
So she's Agnetha. And because Wanda, I guess, okay, listen here. If you watch the person that you love die twice, you're gonna fucking lose it. And she fucking lost it. So she like went and created her own little world. And I'm sorry, Ziggy, you have to wait just a moment until I mute myself. She went in her own little world, but she couldn't do it all. So Agnesitha was like, I got you, girl, and helped her create this bubble in which everything was different and everything was safe except for the people in that town because they were secretly losing their minds in their dreams. And Wanda created Vision, and then she had children who aged rapidly but not past 10 years old. And she's able to fly, but not on a broom, or what's the other word for broom? Flying device.
Some
Thank you. Couldn't remember what it was. And her hands go red when she flies, and it's not a witchy hex, and her kids have powers too, and Vision is fake, and that's all I got. That's really all I got. That's what happens, and then like she finds out like Agnes is Agatha, and that Agatha is no good, and her brother comes in, but it's not her actual brother. Basically, she was using Wanda's neighbor as her little bitch to pretend to be Pietro. So he wasn't even good. And then they have this big battle, and somehow something in 1693, just I don't know. And then also Agatha lures Wanda into a basement, which, girl, why would you go into a fucking basement that looks creepy? Like, what the fuck did you learn when you were in kindergarten? Don't go into fucking creepy basements.
her kids were down there,
Creepy basement.
but her children.
I've been like, Billy, Timmy, Tommy, whatever your name is, come up here or else you're gonna get murdered.
You're on your own if you don't come up here. Bye.
You're on your own, kid. You always have been.
Okay, where did you get that Agatha was helping her create the hex?
That's what Tony said.
Um, okay, I trust Tony.
Sorry, guys, if Tony's wrong. I don't know.
If Tony's wrong, I don't know. I never got that from the show, but Tony apparently has read the comics, so I trust him.
Tony's a big Marvel dude, and he's like, he like, ugh, he would eat Marvel if he could.
Okay, well, I trust him. If that's what he said that happened, I believe it.
Basically, he said that like Wanda couldn't do it all herself because of her grief, and Agnes used her magic to fill in the gaps that Wanda couldn't fill.
Oh. See, because like what I thought is that like when it did the little it was Agatha all along. Um, which by the way, I love that little like part with her song. I love that actress. She's so funny. I thought that she was just self-aware the whole time and like being a little sneaky bitch and like sabotaging things. I didn't think she helped do anything. I thought she was just being a sneaky bitch.
I don't know, but neither of us know, so.
Yeah. And then Pietro. I wanted to say something about him because if you watch any other Marvel movies, specifically X-Men, you might have recognized that Pietro because he actually has played Quicksilver in another movie, the X-Men movies, which is who
Quicksilver is
Pietro is.
Pietro's.
Yeah. In the
And
X-Men
Tony said
movies,
Marvel did that on purpose.
yeah. So I wanted to look up why they did that because me and Andrew had a theory that it was like a bait and switch, like they were gonna start using Evan Peters or something. Because Evan Peters played him in the X-Men movies, and he wasn't Pietro in the X-Men movies, he was just Quicksilver. So I looked up a quote and I found a quote from the creator, Jack Schaefer. And he said, "We had a grief counselor come to the room and we did some research on grief. And there's a lot about how people remember faces and the anxiety about not remembering the faces of your loved ones and that images fade away, or actively misremembering things as a self-preservation tactic." And so they used that and then also like used it as part of the plot with Agatha being like, you had so much self-doubt that you didn't even remember what your brother looked like. So I got to use this fake ass neighbor to replace Pietro.
I got to
And
use
then
this random man.
and then for the fans, it was like, oh my god, hey, look, it's the X-Men Quicksilver. So it was like a two birds, one stone situation.
And
So
then
I
you
thought that
got
was
people
cute.
like me, and I'm just like, oh, hey, it's Evan Peters. I've seen him in stuff before, but not a
Yeah.
lot. I'm definitely not X-Men.
Yeah, he's oh my god, he's so good as Quicksilver in X-Men. And he's not Sokovian. He's very much, I think, from like Boston or something in X-Men. When she goes to Westview, when Wanda goes to Westview before she creates the hex, the place she drives up to is this house, like this, the foundations of this house. And then she's had this paper on her passenger seat of her car. And then she opens it up when she gets to the house, or lack of a house. And she opens it up and it's like a deed to like a property deed. And it has a heart where she's standing and it says to grow old in V, like from Vision. And like not only has she lost like her brother Vision,
Her parents.
but now she lost the house that they were supposed to grow old in together. Like it's not there anymore. They don't really tell us why it's not there, but it's not there.
Tony, Tony knows why, but I don't know.
What the fuck? We should have had Tony on.
You guys should grill my boyfriend if you know him and you want to know the answer, if you don't already know it. Good luck finding him.
Yeah, if you don't know Tony, tough luck.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to find him and then try to grill him. Or you could
So
also, Google it.
yeah, you could Google it. Tony's not the only one that knows, probably.
His best friend Zach does too, though, so you grill him too.
So we keep talking about Agatha. Agatha is this nosy neighbor character, Agnes. She turns out to be a witch named Agatha, and she's a sneaky bitch.
She's purple, by the way,
Yeah,
and
she's
Wanda's
purple.
red.
Yeah, she's purple, Wanda's red. So in Salem, 1693, Agatha stole knowledge from her coven that was quote unquote above her age and station. So they go to take power from her, but instead she like sucks her power like back, and then she takes their power, and they turn all old and decrepit and like keel over and die.
And then she lives for like 300 more years.
Yeah.
Lord knows what.
I would assume that she has some way of staying young that's similar to how she takes magic from other magical people, just like with
She
youth.
probably does some like Mother Gothel shit.
Or maybe she makes a potion like they do in Hocus Pocus.
Maybe she just uses really good eye cream. Sunscreen is the answer, people.
It's true. If you don't have sunscreen and you're like moisturizer, what
Look,
are you doing?
what happens? You get wrinkles. I'm kidding. That's just me, like.
I mean, you get wrinkles no matter what. Wrinkles are inevitable.
Unless you're Agatha.
Yeah, I guess. Well, no, even she has wrinkles, just not a lot. She has a normal amount of wrinkles, which we should be normalizing. But that's a different tangent for a different time. I won't get into it.
So Agatha's a witch, and there's a prophecy about the Scarlet Witch and the Benedict Cumberbatch man. He's apparently
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I wrote down what she said. She said there's a whole chapter about her in the Darkhold, which is the Book of the Damned, about the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
And she said, the Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation. Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme, which is Benedict Cumberbatch. It's your destiny to destroy the world. And Wanda says, I'm not a witch. No one taught me magic. I'm not who you think I am. So
She kind of denied it, and then she didn't.
Yeah, because like they have this little fight, and then Wanda comes up behind her and does her little like wiggly fingers, makes her have a little nightmare scenario like she does in Age of Ultron with all the heroes. And she does one for Agatha, and it's the scene where she's tied up against a tree and makes everyone in her coven die. But then it kind of gets twisted around on her because everyone in the coven is like, you're the Scarlet Witch.
Come back to life, and
yeah,
they harass her.
Yeah, and she gets this little glowy cowl. Is that what it's called? Yeah, headpiece, crown. She gets the glowy Scarlet Witch cowl crown.
The bad ears.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, by the way, like when she at the very end, like after her and Agatha fight and she has the new digs, her outfit, like she looks so good. She looks so good.
Tony was like, I love that she's fighting bad guys in sweatpants.
She's not like other girls.
And I was like, I could do that too. Sweatpants, I just have leggings and tights. And I don't know any bad guys.
Not personally.
No, not personally. I mean, I'm sure I could name a few in the, world.
Something that Agatha does when Wanda first goes down to her basement, she is like, Wanda tries to cast some magic on her. And she's like, Wanda, don't be silly. You can't cast magic. There's runes on the wall and only the witch who casts the runes can cast magic within the confines of the runes. And that comes into play later because while they're fighting in the air, Wanda keeps missing on purpose and hitting the walls of the hex. And she puts these giant ass runes on the walls. And then after Agatha sucks all the magic out of Wanda, like, it's fine because Wanda put a bunch of runes on the hex. So she drains Agatha of her magic and then gets the sweet new digs and is super hot. Wanda curses her.
Agatha into Agnes, basic bitch, nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
Eternity.
It's the role she chose. Wanda and Vision go home. Also, there's a whole other thing where
White Vision.
fucking yeah, Gray sent in, remember the Gray is Hayward. Gray sent in White Vision, which
Because
is
he
pretty
stole
much
Vision's body, not Wanda.
yeah, because Gray is a little lying bitch because he told everyone that Wanda stole his body, but she did not.
You don't need his body to resurrect him.
Well, because she went up when she went to go visit his body. She went up to his head and she was kind of doing her little red wiggly fingers, and she was like, "I can't feel you," and she was crying, and then she left, and then she drove to Westview. That was it. But White Vision was this thing that they created to be like a sentient, like controllable weapon, basically, which again, they all know that Vision's last will and testament was to not be used as a weapon. So what the fuck? Vision like logics him, like Red Vision logics White Vision. He's like, "Hey, I'm only a conditional vision," and he's like, "I request elaboration." So they talk it out some more, and they talk about the ship of Theseus, which is like this theory about how if you replace a ship with new planks of wood for so long, is it still the same ship or is it not the same ship? And they're kind of applying that to whether or not one of them is Vision or if they're both Vision, because his directive is to destroy Vision.
I want to bring science into this and say, every cell in your body gets replaced, like every 7 years. So like it takes 7 years for your body to be completely rebuilt by cells. Because as you know, the cells like in your skin, in your bones, in your organs, they all die and they regenerate, but it takes 7 years for a completely new set of cells to be your body. So, I mean, if I'm still the same bitch that I was 7 years ago, I mean, it's still the same fucking chip. So,
Yeah, because the whole theory is that like if they take I'm gonna butcher this. If they take the old planks and like the old rotted planks and build a new ship, is that the ship of Theseus, or is the one that they like refurbish the ship of Theseus? And they're like, they're both the ship of Theseus. Neither of them are the ship of Theseus. I think that's what the theory is. And so White Vision is like, "I am Vision," and then he goes through the roof and bucks off. And
Tony said something about how Wanda's red vision shouldn't have been able to provide him with all the memories that he did because her vision did not have them because she had created him.
that's a good
But
point.
yeah, so
Because he said he couldn't remember anything before Westview. And
yeah.
he only knows what happened before Westview because Darcy told him. But he still wouldn't remember it because he wasn't there. Also, Darcy, I love her. I
She
love her.
reminds me of this girl I went to high school with.
I really like the part where she T-bones Gray and she's like, "Have fun in prison."
Oh
I just
yeah,
love her character.
I like her glasses. There's
She's
also while we're talking about characters, Monica, she's a badass.
Monica Rambeau is, I feel like she's pretty important because her and Jimmy Woo are the only people in Sword, which I wrote down what the acronym stands for. Hang on. They are the
Space,
only hmm?
space, world
No.
of radical dogs.
Nope. Sword stands for Sentient Weapon Operation and Response Division. So there's
I got
Sword and
none of
Shield.
those right.
No, not even one. Not even the space part. um, so there's Sword and Shield, and Shield's the one that's more in the movies. Sword is kind of like,
Just like Pokemon.
hmm?
It's just like Pokemon. There's
I
sword
mean,
and shield.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I still haven't fucking taken the time to like finish Pokemon Sword.
I
Or
haven't
sorry,
either.
Shield.
I haven't either. I'm like 7 gyms in, and I was just like,
Meh. Did you get the new Pokemon game?
Oh yeah.
I haven't. It looks fun though.
They have these like mega beasts. It's super weird.
I want to play Pokemon I never fucking say this right.
Legends,
No, Arceus? Ar
Pokemon Legends.
I don't know, the one that's a survival horror
Yeah,
Pokemon game.
Pokemon Legends. You can just say
I
Legends.
I I saw a friend play that and I was like, this is a survival horror game. Like, it's terrifying. I love it. Anyways, oh, since we're talking about Sword, I'll come back to Monica in a second. But I was looking up Tyler Hayward, the guy that we're calling Gray. The guy that's an asshole. And I was looking on his fandom wiki, and it has like the aliases section. And let me list you some of the names on his aliases. It's Dick, Sneaky Bastard, Guy Who Almost Got Murdered by His Own Murder Squad,
And
listed on
Gray.
the. Yeah, we should put that on there. He is a sneaky bastard. I fucking hate that guy. So yeah, anyways, Monica is one of the only people on the outside that's like
Aware.
on Wanda's side. Because she knows that Wanda's not really, she doesn't
Bad.
have evil intent. Like, yeah, she's hurting these people, but like she's not she's not trying to. And she's just hurting, and Monica knows that. Because there's an episode where Monica like helps her give birth to her twins, because she becomes part of the show at some point, like the sitcom show. Also, side note, Monica, we see her as a kid in Captain Marvel because her mom is,
Captain Marvel's bestie.
yes. You've seen Captain Marvel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The bad squirrels.
Bad squirrels.
Yeah, those were the bad guys. Or something.
Oh, the people that Captain Marvel was like kidnapped by.
And so
Yeah.
it once.
Yeah, the Kree, that's what they were called. That one I did rewatch in the last week because that is like one of the first 3 movies in the chronological order. When Monica was in the Hex, she told the agents that she felt pain, loss, and grief, and she heard Wanda inside her head. So, like, having lost her mom during the blip, during like the snap and everything, she kind of knows where she's coming from. So, and also she gets powers. Monica gets powers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, it's one of the last couple times she tries to push through the hex because it's really hard to like get through the hex barrier, but she tries to do it like a third time or something like that, just with her body, nothing protective on. And
And it
she,
rewrites her DNA.
yeah, her eyes start glowing, and
She can like
um
control bullets or something.
yeah, she takes some bullets for Wanda's kids. Like, she's a really good character. She's really sweet. And
Fan of her.
in the last episode, she tells Wanda, like, if I had your power, I would probably try to bring my mom back. Like, I get it.
The end credit scene. She was astral projecting.
She was?
Yeah, but she was awake when she was doing it.
We're talking about Wanda again, by the way. Wanda was astral projecting. Um,
When she was in the mountains in her new home.
really?
Tony said she was astral projecting into the what, madness world?
Hmm.
Dark magic, dark madness? Mad, mad, Doctor Strange place.
In the multiverse of madness, that is
That's the
where
one.
that is, it's not a I mean, it's not a place, but that is where she has this little cave that she astral projects from. It did not occur to me that she was astral projecting. I mean, obviously this came out before multiverse, like several years before Multiverse of Madness came out. So also was not a fan of that movie. Did not like it.
I don't think I have much else to go on.
I mean, there's the end of the show where, Agnes gets cursed to be the nosy neighbor, and then Wanda's family goes home and they tuck in the kids for the last time.
And then everything disappears.
Yeah, Vision asks what he is, and she says, "You are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me," which, like, I would like more elaboration on that, please, because when she, like, has her freak out when she gets to Westview, she's going like, ah, and whatever, and there's red going everywhere because that's her color, and then Vision's body starts getting made out of yellow gold. What does she mean by piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me? Like, does she mean it literally? Like, I would like more. I request further elaboration.
I think it's because it was the same stone that like helped her with her powers or something like that, but I don't know shit about Marvel, so
And then there's a part where, they are watching because she's closing the hex, and they're watching the wall of the hex get closer to them, because, as soon as it gets to her, Vision will be gone. And he says, "We've said goodbye before, so it'll stand to reason. We'll say hello again." And it's just like, I don't know. I love them. They're so sweet. And I want her to have a happy ending so bad. But he's dead.
but there's White Vision now
Yeah, but like, he's not the same.
because he's white.
I guess they somehow share memories, even though they shouldn't. Just like the show, this episode has probably been very disorienting. I highly recommend you just simply watch it, because the experience you get here on the podcast.
It's subpar.
Listen, I have super detailed notes, but even if I went and said every single word of these notes, it wouldn't, like, it. You just have to watch it. And listen, it's 9 episodes. You can do that in a week,
You can do that in a day.
watching a little more than an episode a day. You can watch in a week.
You
So
can do it in
like,
a day.
you could do it in one day if you really wanted
You
to.
can do it in 1 hour. No, you can't.
Oh, something fun that we didn't mention is that each episode is like formatted after a specific kind of sitcom. Like the first one is I Love Lucy. And then we see later in the flashback to her parents' house that they have a suitcase of VHSs.
Tony said it was by decade. So the first was the 50s, next 60s, 70s when Technicolor came to light. And then the 80s, which really reminded me a lot of Full House.
80s, is that the last one?
That is the one where the boys found the puppy.
That one reminded me of Full House too. The last one, I can't remember the first sitcom I watched where they did the little interview sections.
Tony said The Office, I said Modern Family.
It was definitely Modern Family that they were supposed to be doing.
The theme, though, sounded very, very, very much like The Office.
I'd have to go back and listen. Why am I trying to think of what the Office theme song sound like, and I can only hear the Parks and Rec theme song?
It's like, nope, that's not how it goes.
It's because Parks and Rec is superior.
I can do it in my head, but it doesn't come the same out. The notes don't come out the same when I sing it.
I'm not trying to be rude. Is that... Hang on, I need to Google something.
It's because I'm tone deaf.
I was Googling, I was like, what is tone deafness? Because I was like, I don't want to call her tone deaf.
I'm tone deaf.
I was like, that's really rude, Kyla. Don't say that.
I am tone deaf, though.
There's this part in one of the episodes where one of the sword people are coming up through the drain, the gutter, the sewer. They're coming up through the sewer, and his suit got changed into a beekeeper's uniform. So when he comes out of the manhole, he's just like a really ominous, creepy beekeeper man surrounded by bees. And Wanda just goes, "No, And then the episode ends, and something about that interaction is like me at work.
That was unsettling to say the least.
Yeah. I think we should mention, like, with all this fucky wucky shit happening throughout the episode, throughout the show, like, Wanda, like, loses control of her powers sometimes. The kids age up really fast. Her pregnancy advances extremely fast. And Vision is, like, all the while, like, very much knowing that something weird is going on. And he's trying to uncover it, and every time he tries to uncover it, Wanda like makes him go do something else, or he gets called into work. At some point, two of the neighbors, Agnes and Harvey, which, remember, Agnes is the sneaky witch bitch, she speaks to Vision, and they try to tell him something about Geraldine, which is Monica. They're like, you know, she has no home, she has no husband, she has no family. And Vision's like, okay, but they're like not saying anything else about it because they're afraid that Wanda's gonna hear them. It's all a bit creepy. Hayward shows footage of Wanda stealing Vision's body to try and argue his point that Wanda is bad news, right? Because he wants to neutralize her. But the thing is that I'm thinking about the footage that he shows, and like, it's nothing. Like, it shows her breaking the glass, which she does, and then it like cuts to the table being empty. Like, that doesn't prove anything. It proves that the body is now not in the room. He's such a little bitch. I fucking hate that guy. Oh, and the boys age up themselves.
Yeah, that's super weird.
That's one of their powers. Like, when they find a dog and they're like, Wanda and Vision are like, we think you're not going to be ready for a dog until you're 10. And then the boys look at each other, and then they age up to 10.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then their dog dies at some point.
Douglas, thank you.
Their dog's name is Sparky.
And Agnes kills him.
Yeah, we don't find out later, but Agatha, she ends her song by going, and I killed Sparky too. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Sparky, like, gets out of the house, and they find Agnes holding him all wrapped up by her bushes. And I guess he got into her azaleas and ate them, because azaleas are poisonous to dogs. And he died. And Wanda tries to make this a teaching moment for the boys about how you unfortunately have to like sit with your grief, and death is just a part of life. But she doesn't realize how hypocritical she's being.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And at the end of the day, Vision confronts Wanda about his interaction with a coworker he had earlier that day that was really fucking weird. Because, you know, remember, he's having all these weird experiences that are like, things are not as peachy as they seem. And they argue, and Wanda says, all of this is for us, let me handle it. And Vision's like, you don't get to make that choice for me. And then this is when we learn that he doesn't remember anything before Westview. So again, this show is just all over the fucking place. You just have to watch it.
Yeah, hard to follow, I think. For me, anyway.
If you're not a Marvel fan, it's probably difficult. The Halloween episode, they dress up in their like old costumes from the comics. Outfits. Yeah, they're classic outfits. And Quicksilver does too. And it's really cute.
Tony was telling me about that. I thought that was cool. But yeah, WandaVision.
Yeah, I think that's all I have in my notes, really. I don't have anything extra that we didn't go over. I think the main difference is that Agatha was like supposedly classically trained as a witch, whereas Wanda just innately has these powers.
And she was like, I'm not a witch.
Yeah. And when they do a little flashback to when the bomb goes off in Sokovia when they're kids, Agatha says she does a probability hex or something. And she's like, no, the bomb was just effective. And we sat there for 2 days.
I don't remember that part. It's okay.
Oh yeah, when they go back to TV night in Sokovia, Wanda's pick was the Dick Van Dyke Show. I don't know why, but I felt like that was worth writing down. I thought it was cute.
And her brother doesn't like sitcoms.
Yeah. So, yeah, what were your thoughts like watching this whole show and finishing it? Like, how do you feel with I guess the knowledge that you have now Like, do you have any particular feelings about Scarlet Witch or Marvel as a whole?
It's all the same. It's still neutral.
How did you feel about Wanda and Vision as a couple?
He's a robot.
Unimpressed.
Unimpressed.
No.
He's a robot.
I mean, he's intelligent though. He's like a person.
Artificially.
Well, yeah, but like me too.
She fucked a robot.
We don't know that for sure.
I know for damn sure she didn't let him think that those kids just magically grew in her uterus.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah, they have a little like Sims woohoo moment at the end of an episode.
Yeah, it happened. We can't deny.
You don't think their love story is like sweet and cute? You don't think Vision is charming?
Bond. It's a trauma bond.
Why don't you find Paul Bettany charming like I do?
Because he's red
Well, not the whole time.
most of the time.
Again, I want to apologize that like I probably got some shit with the MCU wrong. Like Ultron, I just watched it, okay? And I was like half watching it, okay? And I was rewatching it to be clear. Like I saw it when it came out. Age of Ultron I've seen maybe like 4 times. And I'm still unclear. Like I can't recite from memory what happens in that movie. I just know it's the funniest Avengers movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Avengers movies and I haven't seen most of Marvel. So, well,
I think you'll live.
yep.
I mean, they're good. They are good, but this oversaturation they're doing, the same thing with Star Wars. Like I don't like it when TV shows start to feel like homework.
Yeah.
Like She-Hulk looks great, but like it also feels like homework, so I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Mhm.
Anyways, I'm not sure how to end this episode. I love WandaVision. I think the Scarlet Witch as a character is really neat. I know she plays more of a villain in Multiverse of Madness, but I also don't like that movie. It's like, do you know what in High School Musical where you've seen those movies, right?
Yeah.
You know, in High School Musical 1, 2, and 3, like Sharpay learns her lesson at the end of the movie, and then by the beginning of the next movie, it's like she learns no lesson at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. It's like that with Wanda.
Hmm.
And it's like, I know grief is a powerful thing, but like, god damn, I don't know. I just don't know about all that. But what do I know?
Right.
Nothing. I know nothing. Yeah, I don't know.
That's WandaVision,
Yeah, next time we're doing The Craft.
1996 one.
Yeah. I kind of forgot. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna have a guest on for that one.
Probably.
Probably. And I have never seen The Craft, and I heard that it's pretty like I'm pretty sure like I'm the only witch that hasn't seen The Craft. So I'm excited to watch it.
I have not seen it either.
And I'm excited to not watch a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to just watch a movie for the podcast.
Definitely.
Make sure to follow us on social media. We are at Movie Witch Pod and at Movie Witch Podcast.
And if you like our content and want to hear more, you can become a patron on Patreon.
Yeah, we have a $2 tier and a $7 tier. You can also just do a monthly donation if you don't care about getting any bonus content, early access. You can just do a monthly donation via our Anchor homepage, which will be linked in the episode description. Make sure to tell your friends about the podcast.
And yeah.
We're tired.
We are tired.
Bye, witches.
Bye, witches.